players with a yellow card. It is the nature of the game, and it is a final. We won't be reserving any players, so we will think about the best game plan for a positive result. Well, good afternoon. I think every match is complicated. We have our experience already in Copa America. We know what we're up to tomorrow. We are very aware of it. We will try to
¿Qué
play at
tal?
the
¿Cómo
level
estás,
and get the
profe?
points we need.
Nicolás Rivera de Radio Nacional.
Coach, right
Profe,
here,
dentro de
Nicolás
todo
Rivera,
esto,
Radio Caravana.
¿cuál
Coach,
va a ser, no hablemos de estrategia, sino el convencimiento para
let's not talk
salir
about
a ganar, porque es
strategy,
lo que
but what
necesitamos
is the
mañana? Usted en la
mindset
conferencia de
to get
prensa
there
post
and
partido contra
win?
Venezuela
That is what
dijo,
we need tomorrow. In
habrá
the press
cambios,
conference
habrá
after the
muchos,
match
habrá
against
pocos,
Venezuela, you said
dependiendo
yesterday
también
there
de este
will be
sofocante calor
replacements. Will there be
que está
many?
haciendo,
A
por lo menos
few?
aquí en Las Vegas,
And
y
also
sobre
taking
todo qué
into
decirle
account the
a la hinchada,
suffocating
porque se
heat
veían
here
videos
in
de
Las Vegas.
hinchas, niños
In
que quizás
particular,
salieron
to
llorando después del partido con
tell this
Venezuela,
to
sabiendo de que
the
querían verlos ganar. ¿Qué
fans.
decirle a toda esa gente?
Some of
Que
them
vienen a
were
alentar
crying the
y
other
gasta
day because they
obviamente
wanted to
su
see us
dinero, sus ahorros
win
para venirlos a ver
against
ustedes. Gracias.
Venezuela. They are coming here using their savings to see their national team. Well, of course, we'll try to set up a strategy to win this game as we try with every game. And well, the opponent will bring its own conditions to the pitch. And tomorrow, we will try our best to win for the fans that are here, for the national team to be
Profesor,
pleased.
buenas tardes, María José Flores, Univisión y TC Televisión.
María José Flores, Univisión,
Profe,
TC
ante la ausencia
Television.
de Ener Valencia, ¿en qué va a cambiar
Given
quizás
the
un poco
absence
el
of
esquema
Ener
para enfrentar a
Valencia,
Jamaica? ¿Y quién
will you
en el
change the
banquillo
game plan
suplentaría
to go
para
against
este juego
Jamaica?
frente a
And
Carlitos?
who
¿Cómo está el ánimo de
could
los
be his
chicos? ¿Cómo
replacement?
están tus
And
compañeros? ¿Cómo
Carlitos,
están a la interna?
how are your teammates? How are they feeling? Well, due to that send off, he won't be able to be on the pitch. He's an important player, but we have other players in the roster then that can do his job. We have Kevin, we have Jordi. I think one of them could be the starter, and I am sure with that, with the contribution of all the players available, we will give our best to achieve a positive result. We are okay as a team, and we're strong. We uh, we know that everyone's waiting for us to make a mistake, to be honest, to be pointing that out. It's always the same people, but we know that what happened last match, we always try to do our best. We weren't able to do so last
¿Qué
match, but
tal,
now we're thinking about
Félix? ¿Cómo está?
Jamaica and then we'll
Pablo
think
Mora de
about
Radioactiva.
Mexico.
Usted
Pablo
tiene
Mora,
16 partidos
Radioactiva,
dirigidos con
coach.
Ecuador, 9 victorias,
You have
60% de
coached
efectividad, derrota solo
16
contra Argentina, 2 contra
matches,
Italia,
9
y las otras
victories,
fallas que se dio
only 2 defeats against
contra Venezuela
Argentina
con 10
and
hombres.
Italy,
¿Le molesta que haga
and
objeciones sobre su
the
trabajo?
situation
Ya
against
usted creo
Venezuela
que
with one man
Carlos
down.
ya algo le ha
Uh,
dicho, pero ¿le molesta que haga objeciones sobre su
are you
trabajo? ¿Cree
bothered
usted
by
que
the
quizás
some
son los mejores
challenges against
históricamente en
your
Ecuador en
work,
16 partidos?
given
¿O que es
that
parte,
these stats are maybe the
de su
best
trabajo,
stats for
aunque
an
un poco
Ecuadorian
la presión
coach
que puede venir? Y
in
Carlos,
having
después de que, bueno, en algún momento un rol,
this
fuiste
type
titular en un mundial
of
en el
presence in a
2014
tournament. And Carlos,
y
you were
allí
a
su rol era
starter
otro
for
dentro del
the
vestuario,
World
ahí
Cup
eres uno de los más
2014,
experimentados
or
y
you
la
weren't
necesidad
one a
seguro que era
starter.
consciente
Now you
de
are
salir.
one of
¿Cómo
the
ese
most
rol, profesor, ya
experienced
lo lleva en el
players.
entrenamiento?
And how do you feel about that leadership role in the locker room? Well, of course, you have to bear with it. Everyone has his or her opinion. I respect opinions, and I focus on my work to contribute and to contribute to the best performance possible. And sometimes there are unfair comments out this team, and that is my opinion. I think these players are really showing us what commitment means. Sometimes uh, results come, sometimes they don't, but what is important for the players to know that this is the right attitude. And as I've already said, I respect everyone's opinion, but I don't waste my energy dwelling on them. So we are really concentrated on our work, on our team. And I think that if we continue on this path, it will be, come to fruition. Okay. I think that with all my experience in recent years, I try to convey to them the right mindset. Of course, there's frustration sometimes, but at the end of the day, these are matches, and there's always a way to see the glass half full. This is important, and it's very
Buenas
important to
tardes,
remain
Félix. Ramiro
positive.
Razo de
Good afternoon,
TV,
Felix Ramiro Razo,
ecuatoriano,
Razo TV,
periodista de New York. Me
Ecuadorian
alegro que jueguen con un
New
centro
York
delantero.
journalist. I am happy that you will be
¿Por qué
playing with a center
decidirse entre
forward.
Rodríguez
Coach,
o Jordi? ¿Cuál
are you
característica
deciding
piensa
between
usted que es la más
Rodriguez or
conveniente para
Jordi?
superar
What
a
do
la
you think
férrea
is the
defensa que
best
tiene
trait
el rival?
to
Y para Carlos,
break
ayer
the
marcaba
strong
unos
defense of
111
the opponent? And
grados
Carlos,
Fahrenheit, es decir,
yesterday
44
there were
centígrados, llegó a
111
sentir la
Fahrenheit
calor
degrees. That is 44
insoportable
Celsius
allí
degrees.
en Mancha la
That
Breva.
is almost
Cuando tiene
unbearable
problemas la
heat.
selección con Sarmiento que sale, no solo en este partido, sino antes en la parte física,
With
y Piero que termina acalambrado.
Sarmiento
¿Cuál es tu punto de
leaving
vista
the
de jugar
field
este compromiso?
and
Primero,
cramping.
Cristian, la respuesta. ¿Por qué
What
la decisión? ¿Cuál
is
será la
your take
característica
on
principal
that?
entre Jordi y Rodríguez
Coach,
para este
what
match?
will
Gracias y
be,
buenas
I
noches.
repeat the question, what will be the main train to decide between Jordi and Rodriguez? Well, I think they both have conditions to be starters, and maybe they will have both, and we'll decide for one. But they are very similar players. We really like that they challenge for the ball in every space, and that it is a game that will demand them physically. And I think it's very important for them to help the midfield unloading the ball, and we'll see tomorrow. But we will be deciding the given the condition of the players. Well, we know what's at stake, and we're not thinking of making excuses about the heat. Right now, we are working hard, and I already mentioned this. We have to remain positive, and we have to do our best tomorrow. We know everyone is expecting us to fail or to make mistakes, to start talking about us again. So we'll do our best. Soledad Rodriguez, ESPN. You have already mentioned analyzing Jamaica as an opponent. And what do you expect to see on the field tomorrow from the opponent? Carlos, in the midfield, you know that third very well. What do you think the key will be to win against Jamaica in that area, in that third? Well, we will go against a very strong team. The Mexico had a hard time winning against them in the last FIFA game days, and they were in semifinals with the US. They are not only physical, they are very well organized, and they are very difficult to beat. And well, they have a very good transitions between defense and attack. And we'll see how we can attack or how we can break their backline, which is very difficult. And I think we have the players to achieve a result. I think it's important to get to the match united as a team, believing in us and in our work. We are the ones that are giving it all, and we know we are aware of our hard work. We have a great team, Moise, Franco, Cifuentes, me. I know everyone will be giving it all, trying to have Ecuador well represented by us. Andrés Villamarín, la Red de Ecuador. Coach, how difficult is to assimilate all this pressure for you? Knowing that if the tricolor, if our team does not win the 3 points tomorrow on Sunday, we will have to go back. Carlos, you just mentioned that everyone is on you if you make the smallest mistake. Are you referring to something in particular, to the process, to the people around you? I think that will create some buzz, and to avoid maybe headlines, would you like to comment on it? Well, we are football players and the coaching staff of a professional team of the highest level, and the pressure is always present. We know these are very extreme situations. The first match was important, this one as well, but we have to be clear minded, and we have to be focused on performing well, on being on the details, committing to the team, and we have the hopes of having of achieving a good result and being able to advance to the next round. We have to think that we have the opportunity, but of course, as I mentioned, it is an extreme situation sports wise, and the players are ready to get on the pitch and to perform to their best. We started with -3 standing in the qualifiers, and to the qualifiers of the World Cup. And if you look at it today, we are doing much better. But everyone was ready to jump at us and to point out what we were doing wrong. But you have different people around. There are people that are focused on what we do well, and there are others that are only showing what the mistakes we make. And sometimes we analyze numbers, and we analyze the stats, and then uh, there's a lot of information around us, and I think it's always been like that. When I was at the national team, and started when I was 19 years old, we didn't have this level of support, and I think that we had one FIFA game day, and Kendry is very young, and he's 17 years old, and everyone was scolding him or pointing out his mistakes, and we want him to be the savior. That is how we treat him. I don't think that is fair. We need greater support, and sometimes we don't feel it from some people, and I think it was the right time to say this. I hope that tomorrow we can revert the situation and that Ecuador can give us an important step forward. Radio Guayaquil. You mentioned that the opponent also conditions our game plan. What will be Ecuador's stance or position regarding tomorrow? Will it be a defensive play? Will it be corrective based on the traits of the opponent? Of course, we understand you'll try to win because every match is a final, but we have seen defensive Ecuador against Argentina. And what will be the strategy tomorrow, coach? Carlos, when do you feel the best? When Ecuador is creating opportunities and going forward, or when you have to defend and react? Well, tomorrow's proposal will be similar to what we showed in the first 20 minutes when we were playing with an even number of players, and we will be on it from minute one. Uh, there was some nervousness. It was the opener, and maybe there was some lack of accuracy at some times, but of course it's normal. But we will try to have a great coverage of the field in the back line, and there will be many stages of the game and different situations, and we will have to adapt to them all, trying to control the ball as much as possible. This is football. You cannot do it throughout the game. Things evolve and change. Well, it's I think the work of the of the midfielder maybe sometimes is not as important when it comes to feelings, but we'll try to do our best tomorrow. The team yesterday, coach, in the match against Venezuela, the team was holding firm, was strong, but after the red card, it looks as if it lost its clear game plan and it had to back up. And you had to show a plan B in the second half. Do you have plans B for this next match to avoid a negative outcome? And Carlos, based on your words about the journalism, or do you think the national team can do better? Messi mentioned these and some other players as well about their national teams. We know that our national team can do better. Would you agree? Well, we have a game plan. We have alternatives. In this case, we played 70 minutes plus 10 with one man down against a very strong opponent. It was very hot. We tried to adapt to the situation. We, of course, ended up defending more than attacking. In my opinion, of course, I respect yours. I did not think a possible solution would have been continuing in strong pressure up high on the field. Even in the this result, anything we might say is a bad for scenario, but we can analyze it differently. We tried to maintain the result. We tried to seize the counterattacks we had. Maybe we could have been better, but we really tried our best to get a result that wasn't possible for us. Hopefully, in the next match, this won't happen. And as I mentioned, 80 minutes with 10 men at this level is an extremely difficult situation. And I told this to the team. I have no problems repeating it. I think they gave it all, and I have no doubts they will be rewarded for their performance in another occasion. And we will continue on this path regardless of the buzz. Can you repeat the question? Well, sometimes the criticism is not because we are waiting for you to make mistakes. It is because we
Yo creo
think
que
that
nosotros
you
mismos generamos
can
eso,
do better
pero
and give
sentimos a la
more.
interna
Um,
que el apoyo no es
well,
suficiente o el que nosotros esperamos, el que necesitamos.
we think that
Porque claro,
sometimes the
muchas veces es
support
fácil verlo
isn't the
afuera, pero
one we
nosotros
need.
somos los que vivimos.
It is
Nosotros
easy
somos los que sentimos
seeing
eso.
it from the
El día del
outside.
partido
We
de
are
Venezuela
living it,
mayormente
and
los
in the
venezolanos que
match
estábamos
against
en el terreno de
Venezuela,
juego,
there were
porque
more
todos los niños
Venezuelans than
escuchamos el himno
Ecuadorians.
de Venezuela que
We
nosotros.
could hear that during
Entonces
the
yo creo que
warm up
para
and during
exigir
the
también hay que dar
anthem.
también.
So
Pero si
I
quieren,
think
si
that
de
in
verdad
order
le
to
apoyan al 100%,
demand,
estamos nosotros al
you
100%
have
vamos a
to
ir a apoyar
give, and
y presentar desde el principio. No
if
esperamos
they
ninguna
want
otra
us to
cosa. Claro, lo
in
que pasa es que
our
después
prime,
criticar y hablar y decir
we need the
y
support,
porque
and
es lo que se vive. Si
that
antes
is
que llegue
what
la analista
how
ya
we
estaba
live it, how we
antes.
perceive it, and
¿Por qué los
even
miembros? ¿Por qué
before
esto? ¿Por qué no
the
vamos a apoyar?
roster was presented, they were criticizing the team. So
Buenas tardes, con todo Roberto Mar Machado,
good afternoon, Roberto Mar Machado, Mache Deportes. Coach, tomorrow it is a key match for both because the team that loses probably goes back home. With these Icelander coach, well, you've met in Qatar, you get along well. Where do you think you'll find the differences to leverage on and win tomorrow? Carlos, in 2014, your collab was criticized, and after 10 years, you have ratified that decision back then. I think that from a standpoint of a journalist, I would ask you to give a step aside and think about what the people want. Because when you lose or you win, we all lose and we all win. We do think that the individual talent of this generation of players can give us more, and that is why we demand it. Well, yes, I know the coach. We met in Qatar, and he is a coach that likes well organized teams and will try to be disruptive and to make them feel uncomfortable for the transitions. There are very dangerous transitions in that team, and will try to create imbalances, and we will try to do everything for our expected outcome that will take us to the last match with an opportunity to move on to the knockouts. I think it's not easy to put it aside and to stop thinking about it. We see this as a constant. It's not something that happens with a rare frequency. I always try not to pay attention to that criticism, but we are under a great level of demand. But what happens? Because when we win, well, the country won. But when we lose, it's all about pointing fingers. So it is evident that this could happen again. And well, you have a very long period in camp, and we are concentrated, but you are not where we are. We live this every day. Today, we were training at 7 a.m. under the heat. It's not an excuse, of course. As I mentioned, we're not going to make excuses about the heat. But we know what we need. Tomorrow, we need to win 3 points against Jamaica, and then we're going to think of Mexico so that we can all be happy, the country, the team, and to continue going after this dream that is winning the Copa America. Argentina lost the first match during the World Cup, so we have to believe in it, but we need everyone's support. and this is very complicated. There are players that had hard seasons in their clubs, and they are suffering from cramps and they cannot recover in full. But we have to work on it, being humble. But hopefully tomorrow it will be a great day. Last question. I wanted to ask you, coach, about the goal kicks and the particular traits needed in center backs. And regarding Jamaica, what things do you think should be there to have the right strategy you are proposing? What are the elements that have to be present? Well, we have an idea on their potential game plan, and if there are modifications, we will adapt to it. I think that it is very important to avoid losing the ball in our third, in our defensive third. And I think that with the players we have available, we can create different options, and the center backs are helping in the start of the plays, like Felix, William Piero. So I see that we can execute our game plan in the defense, and we'll see if they have pressure us high with their three forwards, or if they leave one behind. We will see the situation and we come up with solutions. But the most important thing is to have a team full of confidence, a team that is strong. When we talk about the feelings in the team, or what Carlos is mentioning, well, I want them to pay no attention to what is said about the team. It is tough to win this type of match, but I think that they are qualified for it. They have a great level of performance and the right mindset to get on the pitch tomorrow and continue on this path to try to move on after the match against Mexico. Thank you very